Ooh. I actually felt retarded, like really retarded. I mean, I brushed my teeth retarded. I rode the bus retarded.
Dang.
In a weird way, I had to sort of just free myself up to believe that it was okay to be stupid or dumb.
To be a moron.
Yeah,
To be moronical.
exactly. To be a moron.
An imbecile.
Yeah.
Like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
In a weird way, it was almost like I had to sort of fool my mind into believing that it wasn't retarded. And by the end of the whole thing, I was like, wait a minute, you know? I flushed so much out, how am I gonna jumpstart it up again? It's just like,
Yeah.
right?
You was farting in bathtubs and laughing your ass off.
Yeah.
You serious? You don't know. Everybody knows you never go full retard.
What do you mean?
You know any retired war heroes? You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this video finds you. Welcome to Text. And this beat water is hot. In order to keep myself warm, give myself a nice little 2-hour foot bath while I'm talking to y'all. And I think the water is a little bit too much tonight, but it's fine. All right, so before we get started on the Trump talk with the 90-day tariffs, because he did answer questions from reporters. There was a tragic incident today where a helicopter crashed in the rivers up there in New York, New Jersey, and there are 3 videos showing exactly what happened. You know, rest in peace to the victims. All life is precious, however you want to put it. But I think what was sadder was that kids were involved, you know, and I mean, trust me, nobody wants to see a dead kid, you know, but this is what happened. They still haven't figured out exactly what caused the crash as up until, you know, the time of me doing this video. But it looks like something happened, of course, be it pilot error or mechanical error. The helicopter just went nuts. As you see here, everything appeared to be fine. And then all of a sudden, and it's muted, whoever was filming this, they muted it. As you can see, it started spinning out of control. And boom, down it went, right into the water. Here's the 3rd video. When it hit the water, bam. Yeah, like they pulled 2 people out that were still alive, that were in critical condition, but they did not survive. And they got to the hospital. So, oops, hold on. Let me remove this. Studio add screen. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. So yeah, they didn't make it, unfortunately. I know, laughing with Charles and them. So, all right, so let's get into this. So let's see what Trump had to say. So apparently this was today, you know, courtesy of Forbes. Oh no, this was, yes. Okay, there you go. All right, so let's hear what he had to say as he signs executive orders and takes reporters' questions in the Oval Office. As you see, President Trump takes reporters' questions in the Oval Office after shock 90-day tariff pause.
Yes, sir.
He's going to be a great ambassador to Israel. And they're thrilled to have him, that I can tell you. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So the Senate confirmed Governor Huckabee to be your next ambassador to Israel earlier today. That's his commission as ambassador. And then we also have a transmittal letter to the president of Israel requesting that he accept Governor Huckabee's, or excuse me,
Yeah, the
Ambassador
water
Huckabee's
calmed down now. It's foot
He's gonna be
temperature.
fantastic.
It feels good.
He's gonna bring home the bacon,
And then
even though bacon isn't too big in Israel.
that's just the
I
third
had
letter.
to clear that up. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
congratulations to Mike.
To Mike Huckabee. Next, sir, this is a big one. As you've consistently identified, restoring our maritime dominance as a nation is very important. From shipbuilding to having a merchant marine that's capable of supporting American military efforts, really up and down the line, restoring maritime dominance has been a priority of this administration. This executive order, which was prepared primarily by your National Security Council staff and National Security Advisor Waltz, has a number of very significant policies.
In other words, it's strengthening
all
the
aimed
Navy.
at restoring American maritime dominance and ensuring that we have the shipbuilding capacity and ability to compete globally, both militarily and in the civilian space as well.
And that could be a good one for Michigan too, because we're gonna be spending a lot of money on shipbuilding. We're way, way, way behind. We used to build a ship a day, and now we don't do a ship a year practically, and we have the capacity to do it. So we'll talk to you about that. Okay, Matt, what do you think about that?
Right, because do understand that China was building warships. They were outsourcing the building of warships to China. Like these are your quote unquote enemies / rivals, which Tiffany Cross, with her democratic self, her liquid, low IQ democratic self, said that China is not our enemies. Like, oh, okay, tell them that. Go bleed your heart over there with them and see what happens to you. Oh my God, I'm really thinking about starting a new channel called Liquid Ideology, Low IQ Democrat Ideology. I'm really thinking about starting a secondary channel and just really covering the stupidity that come out of Democratic mouths. Like it baffles me. I was gonna call it Scotty and the Retards, but that was too much. But yeah, I'm really kicking that idea around. We'll see. But yeah, so China we're building warships for us. That's why we were getting our steel from them. But now we no longer have to do that. Now we can build our own ships. I mean, everything that we have outsourced to China or that comes from China, we can build it ourselves or get it from a different country. This is why, and I understand something here. This is why United States, Russia, and the UK, in all honesty, especially the UK, should be very pissed off with Zelensky, because the precious minerals, the metals and everything that are needed for a lot of the components that we outsource to from China, which isn't really a lot, but the little that we do get from them, we can get from Ukraine. But Zelensky is dicking around with this whole peace deal thing, wanting to be a part of NATO and everything so he can accumulate more weapons and call himself trying to fight back against Russia as far as what they've occupied. And the US is like, no. The UK is like, no. Like, we want our mineral deals. We want our, the rights to those metals, those minerals, those metals, all of that stuff. We want our percentage of that. That's money. That's trillions of dollars just sitting in your soil. We're not about to play these games with you. Nobody wants to start a war over resources. This is dumb. We can just divide it up equally and call it a day. We just carve up your country. One way or the other, it's going to happen. You just tell us how you wanted to play it out. Either we can remove you and make it happen, or we can make it happen and remove you later. It's just a matter of when you get removed, before or after. But if you want to get removed before, okay, buddy.
That's a natural.
You screwing up the money. What's up, Carlton? Been a minute. What's up, Simeon? Yeah, we're gonna knock this out not real quick.
Okay. Shipbuilding. That's a good one.
Yeah, because of U.S. Steel, they're going to do that.
The next executive order relates to defense procurement. Our current defense procurement process has been criticized by many folks on both sides of the aisle as being too slow to adapt to new and changing technologies, not delivering the sorts of weapons and systems that our warfighters need in order to compete on the battlefields of the future. Okay. So with this executive order, we're going to be modernizing the procurement structure the Department of Defense uses to allow it to more quickly adapt to changing circumstances around the world. And we're also going to be launching a review of existing procurement programs to ensure that we're getting value for the money and to ensure that we're getting the best possible systems in the field.
And which are currently horrible. I'll tell you, they're horrible. That process is ridiculous what they do. They get the highest price and not even good looking equipment. And we're changing it. We're going to change it to the best. So this is very, very important.
Right. We're paying for garbage. The biggest thing that needed to come back to America was manufacturing.
Well,
especially the things that America needed the most. You needed all of that. You needed to do, in all honesty, outsourcing
agriculture and
the things that it needs the most.
Perhaps a few of them have heard of. She has done the most unbelievable job as somebody that's watching over a country at the border, and with Tom Holman and your whole staff of tremendous people. So thank you. Who would think that she is like meant for that job, huh? She's meant for it. So I just saw you there, both. Thank you very much. Okay. We'll do it later, please.
They asked for a photo op. Like, we'll do it later. Yeah.
Lastly, in the defense space, one persistent issue that we've had in terms of the issue of foreign defense sales, that we're unable to provide weapon systems in a reliable, effective way to key allies of ours. And the key driver of that is inefficiencies and inconsistencies with the process by which we approve foreign military sales. So this executive order is going to direct your Department of Defense, Department of State, other relevant departments and agencies to rework our system of foreign defense sales to ensure that we can provide equipment, creating American jobs and providing obviously revenue to American defense manufacturers, but provide key military equipment to our key allies in a reliable, effective way.
In other words, they're cutting out the middleman.
All very important.
Instead of outsourcing it to somebody else to build it, and then we sell it to them at a markup, we now build it ourselves and sell it at our personal markup. It's all our profit.
It's just about approved. And
which, by the way,
and we want to spend the money properly.
It's outsourced to China.
In the world, we rebuilt our military during my first term. Rebuilt it entirely, beautiful. And then some was given away to Afghanistan so stupidly, the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, I think. But it's still, we have to fix it up a little bit, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a good job of it too. Thank you.
Next up, sir, we have a series of executive orders and a memorandum all relating to deregulation, which has obviously been a major priority of your administration. The first of these is an executive order. The Biden administration launched what you've called a war on showers. They had certain regulations that basically killed the water pressure of showers and other water appliances.
You can say it. Go ahead. What are the appliances?
I mean, it's everything, sir.
Sinks and
dishwashers, toilets, sinks. But the shower heads are
There's no water. You don't get water. It's ridiculous.
So with this executive order, we're effectively going to be reversing that set of regulations to ensure that Americans have choice in the consumer market. If they want a low-flow shower head, they can buy one. If they want a deal shower head,
Jordan won't cost you $250, $300 anymore.
A lot of money, and the developers, you're not allowed to do anything more. They put restrictors on. They used to have a restrictor where you could take it out, but now they weld it in. and you take a shower or wash your hands, whatever you do, including dishwashers where no water comes out. But you wash your hands, and in my case, I like to take a nice shower to take care of my beautiful hair. I have to stand under the shower for 15 minutes till it gets wet. It comes out drip, drip, drip. It's ridiculous. And what you do is you end up washing your hands 5 times longer. So it's the same water. And we're going to open it up so that people can live, and we're going to hopefully have Congress approve it so it's memorialized. We're going to try and get all of these things, including straws, a little thing like straws. We did straws a month ago, where the paper straws were melting, they were dissolving, they weren't working well.
Yeah, that was so
And
stupid.
we went back to the
So
plastic
stupid.
straws. We're going to get Congress to memorialize just about everything we've done here, because most of it's common sense. But the water is horrible. When you go into anytime you see a new faucet, you know it's going to be a long wash of the hands. And so we're changing. It's a big deal. I did it in the first administration. Biden came in his first week, and he had no idea what he was doing, but somebody told him to do it. In his first week, he put the restrictions on all the bathroom utilities, even in areas that have so much water, they don't know what to do with it. You see those areas all the time with the flooding. So we're doing that, and we're going to get all of the things that you've seen. I think we set a record. We're up to almost 200 and 500 amendments. Nobody's ever done them. We're going to get them approved by Congress so they're memorialized. And we look forward to doing that. Very important. And Congress is going to start working on it as soon as we get the big, beautiful deal done. The big, beautiful deal is important. The biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. That's important.
Yeah, I think that passed. At least it passed the House. Now it has to pass the Senate, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, is that okay? It's a 10.
It's a good shower.
We rate the signatures. That was a 10, that's why.
This is another executive order relating to deregulation, sir. There are a lot of regulations on the books that either promote monopoly directly or prevent new market entrants from entering into a given market. The net effect of that is very negative for consumers. So what this executive order is going to do is direct your departments and agencies to work with the FTC, with the Attorney General, with the Department of Justice, to ensure that the regulations we have on the books don't function as anti-competitive barriers to new market entrants. The net effect of all of that is going to hopefully be market forces that redound to the benefit of consumers and ordinary Americans, as opposed to monopolistic businesses.
I said yesterday, he was a great, great student at Harvard before it went bad. It's gone really bad. Now they're teaching their students mathematics, basic mathematics. Can you believe it? So what does that mean? They're allowing people in that can't add 2 and 2? What's going on at Harvard?
I went to law school there, sir, and it was pretty liberal when I was there, but it's gone way off the deep end in recent years.
I don't know if you read that. They're teaching them basic mathematics, people that got accepted to Harvard. How come they got accepted if they don't have mathematics?
Because
And we're holding back $8 billion. Can we believe? We give Harvard $8 billion. And we're holding back Columbia. We're holding back a lot of the schools because they were woke. And
that's why the people are taking basic high school math at Harvard because schools go woke.
There are a large number of regulations on the books. These are regulations that are currently in effect that we believe blatantly violate the law, blatantly violate Supreme Court precedent that otherwise are just blatantly illegal. So what this presidential memorandum does basically just directs the heads of your departments and agencies to follow the law and to cease enforcing regulations that are blatantly illegal or unconstitutional.
Like men and women's sports, men and women's bathrooms. Yeah, Trump is hilarious. I got to give it to him. I mean, whether you respect him or not, you got to admit the dude
memorialized.
The dude is funny. He's got a sense of humor.
For the long haul, right?
Yes, sir. This is the last of our deregulatory EOs for the day. This is zero-based regulatory budgeting. The idea here is that over time, regulations accumulate on the books and in the Federal Register, and people aren't taking a close, detailed look at what's on the books and clearing them out as times change or as regulations become dated or ineffective. What this executive order is going to require is each of your departments and agencies to scrutinize on a continuing rolling basis all of the regulations they actually have on the books and sunset those that either no longer serve a purpose or the departments and agencies can't identify a specific reason for keeping them active.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you've taken action against a number of law firms that have in one way or another been involved in the weaponization of government or actions of lawfare. One of those law firms is Sussman Godfrey, similar to what we've done previously with other law firms. This is an executive order that takes certain measures against Sussman Godfrey to ensure that they can't access government resources, government buildings, scrutinizing certain aspects of their practices as a law firm, given their previous activities.
And we signed with many law firms, the ones that we thought were inappropriate. And they've all agreed to pay $1 million. They went for some pretty big numbers. I guess we have a total. What do we have? What's the total about? What's the total right now, Steve? About, would you say?
Getting close to probably 600-700 million now, I would think. We've multiple at 100 million, some at 125 million. So the numbers are adding up. We're going to be close to $1 billion soon.
One at $40 million, millions of dollars an hour. But they don't admit guilt. Remember that, they don't admit guilt. But then we have another 5 to go, I think, 5 of them. And this one is we're just starting a process with this one.
Let's just be honest. He's saving a lot of he's saving a lot of our money.
Things that happen with these law firms.
This firm is very involved in the election misconduct.
Weren't they all involved in the election misconduct? I think they were all involved.
You want to drain the swamp? Here you go.
Anyway, so they went from $40 million to $125 million. And most of them are at about $100 million.
That's ridiculous. Cut that money off. Cut it off.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next presidential memorandum we have for you relates to Miles Taylor. You may recall that Miles Taylor served in the Department of Homeland Security.
This guy right here, you don't like his look? You know what? This guy, he's sharp as a tack, though. Like, I've seen a couple of interviews that he's done. I think I've covered some of the interviews he's done. This guy's sharp as a tack. He is definitely a Harvard graduate as far as what we know of Harvard.
During your previous administration, in his capacity with the Department of Homeland Security, he leaked classified information. He wrote a book under the pseudonym Anonymous, making outrageous.
Not this guy. Somebody else that's back here. Why you got Christy Noem sitting back here looking like a whole little, whatever the hell she is, Hispanic snack? Let me see who you're talking about.
Just claims both about your administration and about others in it. What this presidential memorandum is going to do, one, it's going to strip any active clearance that he has in light of his past activities involving classified information. It's also going to order the Department of Justice to investigate his activities to see what else might come up in that context, given his egregious behavior during your previous administration.
And I had no idea who this guy was. I had no idea. I saw him on CNN, or one of them, I guess CNN, a lot. He'd be on all the time saying that the president is the president. I had no idea. It's like, you know, in this office, you have a lot of young people, and they're here. I'll see him for 2 minutes, and I assume he was in the office, but I barely remember him. It was somebody that went out and wrote a book and said all sorts of terrible things that were all lies. And it was like he was this gentleman or that gentleman, like I dealt with him all the time. I had no idea who this guy. I said, who the hell is Miles Taylor? and he made a living on going on CNN talking about the president. And I think what he did, he wrote a book, Anonymous, said all sorts of lies, bad things. And I think it's like a traitor. It's like spying. He walks into the office. He's supposed to be sitting here. A lot of people, I'll be here and there'll be 20 people standing in the room. There'll be oftentimes young people in the office. I assume he was one of them at least, but I didn't know anything about him. And he wrote a book, Anonymous, and I always thought it was terrible. And now we have a chance to find out whether or not it was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, do understand, just earlier this month, they arrested that FBI agent at the airport before he got on his flight with classified documents he had Xerox, talking about writing a book. So now here you have somebody that was in the White House, and this guy supposedly, he wrote this scathing book about Trump and everything. And I mean, like, what are you doing? Anyway.
But it was a work of fiction. Had a lot of publicity. Got himself a nice job with CNN or one of them. And I think we have to do something about it. You can't have that happen. If that happens to other presidents, it wouldn't be sustainable for other presidents. They seem to be able to sustain. But if that happened to other presidents, I mean, it's just unfair. And if it was a Democrat president, I'd say that's a terrible thing. A thing like that can happen. That's a terrible thing. And it's time to find out whether or not somebody can do that. Can they write a book about very confidential meetings? And, because they happen to be one of a lot of people in a room, and they go out and write a book, and worse than that, call it anonymous, like it's a big deal. And everybody's saying, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Then it was found out who he was a long time later. And get a lot of publicity off that one. He's like a promoter. But we're going to find out whether or not somebody's allowed to do that. I think it's a very important case, and I think he's guilty of treason, if you want to know the truth. But we'll find out.
We'll find out.
I assume we're recommending this to the Department.
By the way, it's now raining here in Georgia, so if my internet goes out, I apologize, y'all. I apologize. I mean, I'm in the suburbia of Georgia.
Absolutely, sir. Christopher Krebs,
it is what it is.
CISA. This is a man who weaponized his position against free speech in the election context, in the context of COVID-19. This is it's a similar presidential memorandum to the one you just signed. It addresses his access to government, existing clearances he might have, and further instructs your Department of Justice, other aspects of your government, to investigate some of the malign acts that he participated in while he was still head of CISA.
This is another one. I don't know that I met him. I'm sure I met him, but I didn't know him. And he came out right after the election, which was a rigged election, badly rigged election. We did phenomenally in that election. Look what happened to our country because of it. Open borders, millions of people coming into our country. Russia and Ukraine, that would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. Afghanistan, the way that they withdrew with 13 dead, but so many killed, actually. I mean, so many killed outside of the 13 soldiers, hundreds of people killed. And maybe, I don't know, never mentioned, but I mentioned it, 42 or 43 people so badly injured, the legs, the arms, blown off, the face. And this is all because of a incompetent group of people that preceded us, and that would have never happened. And this guy Krebs was saying, oh, the election was great, it was great. Well, it's been proven that it was not only not great. When you look at all these lawyers and law firms that are signing, giving us hundreds of millions of dollars, it was proven by so many different ways in so many different forms, from the legislatures not approving to the 51 intelligence agents that worked, from all of the different scamming operations. It was a very corrupt election. They used COVID to cheat. And we're going to find out about this guy too, because this guy's a wise guy. He said, we've been proved this is the most secure election in the history of our country. Now this.
Look, okay, Stephen Miller. Okay, so look, let me show y'all this. this just goes, I mean, as much as Democrats want to say that, you know, oh no, the election was fair. All right, so over here, this is the popular votes. All right, this column right here, as you can see, is the popular votes, and as you can see, they didn't start counting the popular votes until 1824. But we're going to skip all of that and come all the way down to, let's say, 1980. All right. So 43 million, 54 million, 48. So 54 so far, 50-50, 62, George W. Bush, 69, Barack Obama. Then 65. Keep in mind, Barack Obama was a very popular candidate. I mean, look at his electoral votes, 365. 365. You don't see any, Bill Clinton with 379 only got 47 million. Okay? 379. So, Joe Biden with 306 electoral votes. Keep in mind, 81 million popular votes. 81 million. Nobody in the history of the world elections. Look, Donald Trump at 77 million. Okay? 77 million. Nobody has come close to even the 77 million. Not even Obama. Obama at 65 and 69. You mean to tell me at 81 million popular votes that came in, understand the surge of Joe Biden's votes came in Pennsylvania through mail-in ballots after Trump had pretty much already won Pennsylvania. Then when they decided to count the mail-in ballots, all of a sudden he shot up to 81 million. And he won Georgia, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. It should be looked into. It should seriously be looked into. There's no way in hell that's popular. That the most POS candidate, Joe Biden, got 81 million popular votes. I mean, he beat everybody. He beat everybody in the history of elections. He beat everybody with 81 million. Get the hell out of here. That makes 0 sense. Crooked as a dog's leg, a robot dog's leg. Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, come on. They stole that election, but it's whatever. It's whatever. You know what? In a sense, when you look back on it in revisionist history, it's a good thing they did that, because then we wouldn't be where we are now. We wouldn't be in the situation where it's like, okay, playtime is over. It's time to act right now.
It was a disaster.
But, you know, what do we know? We just work here. What's up, Detroit?
Same day voting, voter ID, and one other thing, vote. You should get a certificate that says you're a citizen of our country. You get a citizen piece of paper.
Well, yeah, but he didn't. He never got to the top of the ticket. Yeah, you're right.
You want voter ID and you want paper ballots, and you really want same-day voting. If you don't have same-day voting, they decide to change the air conditioner. Oh, we're fixing the air conditioner. Let's move all these boxes. We'll bring them back in a few days, and then they don't bring back those boxes. We got to have safe elections. We have to have borders. Ideally, we have to have a free press, which we don't have. We don't have a free press. We have a very dishonest press. This is an honor. We're going to find out whether or not he was right. This was a disgraceful election. And this guy sat back saying, well, I'm a member, like he's a Republican or something. And almost right from the beginning. And he's tried to make the case that this election was a safe election. I think he said, this is the safest election we've ever had. And yet, every day you read in the papers about more and more fraud that's discovered. He's the fraud. He's a disgrace. So we'll find out whether or not it was a safe election. And if it wasn't, he's got a big price to pay.
Yeah, and he got smoked every
He's a
time.
bad guy.
He didn't even
Another
make
one,
it
I
to
have
the.
no
He
idea
didn't
who
even make
he
it
is.
out of the primaries.
Krebs, no idea who he is. I'm sure he was in the room at some point, just like you're all in the room, but I have no idea who he was. So thank you very much. Those
And
last
now
two are
with
very
voter
important,
ID,
for the country.
they have no
Sir,
choice now.
Lastly, we just have three
You're stuck.
proclamations. These are the sorts of things that most presidents use an auto pen for. You obviously don't like using the auto pen much, if at all. The first of these is National Former Prisoner of War Recognition Day. This is one that you did in each of, I believe, each of the previous years of your previous administration, recognizes former prisoners of war. More generally, this proclamation is written to acknowledge the great steps you've made both in this administration and previous administration on behalf of veterans, homeless veterans, others who have suffered in that way, and basically stating that it's a priority of your administration to ensure that veterans and homeless veterans are cared for properly.
Good. And you know what? They ought to find out who was using that auto pen, because whoever that person was, he or she was like the president of the United States, and I'm against auto pens.
Aren't there cameras in that office? Please tell me there. I mean, let's not be dumb. There's a camera
like we're signing today
in that office where you are right now, right?
President, it's pretty simple. Let's see whether or not he could sign. But
Pull
I
up
think that
the
should be
tape.
tested. I really think that should be tested. It's another one, and you may think about it, because how can a man that did he really know that when they gave all false information on the council? I mean, the whole unselect committee of political lunatics, they destroyed all the information. You can't get any information. They went for like a year and a half, almost 2 years, screaming and ranting and raving. Democrats plus two, worse than Democrats. You had Cheney, Liz Cheney, and crying Adam Kinzinger.
Right. If you did nothing wrong, why did you destroy evidence?
I was a crier. But you can't do that. You just can't do that. So we're going to find out a lot. I think we're going to find out a lot. These last 3 or 4 have been they've been very, very interesting. We'll see what happens.
Sir.
But I don't think a president should be allowed to use an auto pen when they're signing very, important legislation. I think a president should sign it, not use an auto pen. And we're going to find out whether or not he knew what the hell he was doing. I'm sure at this point he'll say, I signed it. They'll tell him what to say. But
it's just like the U.S. Institute of Peace. Why are you destroying evidence?
Destroyed all the information. If you destroy information on a civil case,
why are you destroying evidence?
Just a civil case, not a criminal case. A civil case, they put you in jail for that. And they found out that Pelosi was the one that was in charge of the security of the Capitol, and she knew all about it. And she admitted her guilt to her daughter, who was a movie documentary person. I'm sure her daughter's not too happy about that. I'm sure Crazy Nancy's not too happy. But we found out all the things, everything. And we go for the information. Sir, we've destroyed all of that information. If I haven't destroyed it, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I guarantee you that. I'd be sitting someplace else. So I think it's something that we should really look at, because that's so important. The whole concept of an auto pen.
What's up, No News? I see you've been dropping little bits.
Auto pens are run by somebody. Whoever ran the auto pen was president of the United States. And I would be willing to bet that Biden didn't know, probably didn't know anything about any of it.
No, he didn't know.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Spoke with Mike Johnson. He had no idea what he was signing. Mike Johnson was like, didn't know you signed this, that, and the other? He was like, what?
This is just another proclamation, sir.
I was told this, that, and the other. He's like, no, you signed this, that, and the other.
You've obviously made it
He was
a
like,
major priority of your administration to track down and at times deport criminals who have committed violence on our streets, who have victimized so many people. This is an annual proclamation that hopefully gets Americans to remember that when crimes occur, there are real victims, there are real people who are affected, and there are people who suffer as a result.
Okay, it's very important. Thank you. I just want to add, so we're working very hard with Democrats, the governor, with Matt Hall, with a lot of transportation, Sean, and all of the people trying to keep Selfridge Air Force Base open, strong, thriving, And I think we're going to be successful, Governor. I think we'll be very successful at that. We've gotten some good feedback from Pete Hegseth and Department of Defense. And talking about F-16s, they're talking about F-35s, you know, et cetera. That it's a great piece of property. It's a great location. And it's a great state.
Mightier than
So
the
I think we're
sword.
going to come back with a very good answer. We're also working on a certain fish that's taken over a beautiful lake called Michigan, right? And that's a tough one. That's a tough one. It's very. Do you want to just talk about?
I mean, he did start off as a
Yeah.
Democrat.
First of all, I want to thank you for caring so much about Michigan. We've been working a long time. We couldn't get Joe Biden to do anything about either one of these issues, particularly Selfridge Air Force Base. It'll be critical to Michigan's economy and our security when you're able to deliver us another mission there. But on the Asian carp,
What I like, this is his energy guy. I believe these three guys, these are his energy. Well, I believe this guy, this is the U.S. Steel guy, and this is his energy guy. These two guys, but mainly this guy. This is his energy guy. This is his U.S. Steel guy. This guy, I forget what he does, but everybody, these four guys standing right here, these are captains of industry that have government contracts. All right. These are captains of industry that have government contracts. I know this guy most particular, and this guy. These guys are cleaning up. Their corporations are cleaning up. They have government contracts. Now this guy, he's about, like he's saying about the whole thing with Michigan. Now they're about to get a government contract. And this is the thing, is that they're sitting up here talking about, we need to investigate Trump for insider trading. And it's like he's telling, because he said, hey, look, now's the time to buy stocks. He didn't say what stocks. But those of you who've been watching these videos, what have I been doing? I've been listening to what he's saying, who's getting these contracts, and jot them down. What's the name of your company? Oh, well, let me see. I'm buying NVIDIA, Apple, U.S. Steel. You know, these are the corporations. They're telling you, Tesla. Who's getting the government contracts? It's not a secret. It's not insider trading. They're telling you right here in your face. Oh my God. But you know, Democrats are very stupid. So let's start it over.
So working on a certain fish that's taken over a beautiful lake called Michigan, right?
Oh, you want to know? You say, for the life of me, I don't understand how people can hate Trump, Elon, for leveling the playing field, because he's killing their slush funds. For the Democrats, he's killing their slush funds. All the people you've seen protesting are just, they're petty protesters. But for the Democrats in office that won't condemn the violence against Tesla and whatnot, these are people they're getting kickbacks. First, they were getting kickbacks from Doge. I mean, not from Doge, from USA. They were getting kickbacks from the Department of Education. You see, the UAIP, they were getting kickbacks from them. That's why they tried to block the doors and delete their information. You know, a terabyte of information on the hard drive, which of course Elon's team recovered. And now you've got the IRS, the chief of the IRS, she quit. Suddenly when Doge came knocking on the door, she quit. You have to understand, these people have been stealing taxpayer funds for years. It's enough window for crypto. Yeah, they're plugged. Exactly. It's enough window for crypto of 90-day pause on tariffs. Yeah, I'm waiting on him to get to that. The application of knowledge is power. Yes. You say China may lose big on tariffs because other Asians dislike China because they're selling cheap labor and products. Yes, that's the whole thing with the tariffs. When he's making the calls, you know, they're now calling, making deals. He's giving them 3 months because it's like, hey, look, understand. I ain't even watched this video and I already know what the play is. I mean, it's called ticks. This is common sense. You're giving these people, you're doing to these countries the same thing that you did to the auto industry. And the auto industry, because you were in Mexico and Canada, let me get my geographic state. straight. You got 30 days to move your stuff in. Trump was saying he saw they were driving in trucks. The cars were half finished. They didn't have roofs or nothing. They was moving that inventory on the road again, going places that I've never been. They was moving that inventory across country lines, across the border, getting it into America before the tariffs kicked in, saving themselves some money. It's just common sense. With these countries, I'm giving you 3 months. We can negotiate the tariffs, but meanwhile, if you know that it's cheaper for you to go ahead and give us the $5 million for the gold card, okay, so you can bring your business here, build your factory here, move your products here, hire American workers, and then when the tariffs kick in, because you already have a facility here, you don't suffer the tariff penalty. Okay. So you got 3 months to get your act together here in the United States. For those of you that can't, well, hey, this is the tax. This is the tax. This is the tax. He knocked over the water corral. Oh, Care, like that Dave Chappelle skit and hit the floor. Yeah. The tax one, like China's looking for a way to get an American dollar to surplus tariffs. It's called honey tariffs. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I mean, because the crap we get from China, we don't need that stuff. We don't care about Temu and Doug. We could care less about Temu and iPhones and everything. I said it last night. We recycle and resell that stuff here in America. We can make iPhones here in America. You say Trump giving the world the golden rule. Yeah, the golden rule, the golden ticket, everything. I mean, it's like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. You got the golden ticket. You run it home with the golden ticket. You know, Temu is from China. Yeah, Temu is China. That's why he gave them 3 months to do something with TikTok, because a lot of Americans make money off of TikTok. So he's trying to give them 3 months. Hey, he pretty much gave you as a TikTok prostitute 3 months to find another outlet in case China doesn't sell, because if they don't sell their version of TikTok to an American buyer, then it's gone, because you're stealing. Yeah, you say TikTok will go too. Yeah, Oompa Loompa. Yeah, all that stuff is gone, because because Tiffany Cross with her moronic self doesn't seem to understand that China is not our friend. China will destroy us in a heartbeat if they got a chance. I guess she thinks Russia is our friend too. I guess she thinks Iran is our friend, because, Tiffany Cross, I really need to cover the stupidity of black people on CNN. Thinks that because China manufactures iPhones, that China is our friend. And that Scott Jennings told her, like, wait, so you're okay with the child slave labor and low wages that China pays simply because you can get an iPhone from them? Well, no. Well, then what is you talking about, you moron? Oh, I swear to God, man. Look, well, she was on CNN. She was on the Scott Jennings show hosted by Abby Phillips. I mean, it's not the Abby Phillips show. That chick is an idiot. That's Scott Jennings show. Okay, let's just be honest. That's Scott Jennings show. But yeah, she of course made a fool of herself, like every black person that goes on CNN, trying to go up against Scott Jennings. They make fools of themselves because, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, you can clearly tell these people have a freaking high school graduate education. You can tell they went to an HBCU or they wound up getting into an what we call the white schools? What do they call the white schools? The IPWs or whatever, IWP, whatever. She went to a white school, didn't learn a goddamn thing except how to be offended by everything, and then they come out and they don't know what the hell they're talking about because they get these garbage degrees. Well, I got a degree in underwater fishing with chocolate sauce and women's studies and African PWI. Thank you, Unsunken One. They go to these PWIs, get these useless freaking degrees, don't learn anything, and then with those that do get some sort of degree, you find out that they graduated near the bottom of their class. You know, they're C and D students, and then they get on CNN and MSNBC and The View and all of these other shows, and they sound like morons. Tiffany don't give a F as long as those kids get her red bottom order right. Exactly. Yeah. Morons. Anyway.
And that's a tough one. That's a tough one. It's very. Do you want to just talk about that?
Sure, Mr. President. Yeah. First of all, I want to thank you for caring so much about Michigan. We've been working a long time. We couldn't get Joe Biden to do anything about either one of these issues, particularly Selfridge Air Force Base. It'll be critical to Michigan's economy and our security when you're able to deliver us another mission there. But on the Asian carp, you know, for years, when Obama was there, we could never get anyone to do anything about this invasive species. It's going to destroy our Great Lakes. You know how important recreational fishing and so much of that is to our state. Because of your work, we're hopeful that we'll get a solution there and we'll get that barrier built so we can protect our Great Lakes. So thank you, Mr. President.
And they're very powerful fish. I mean, I see them, they jump out of the water, they jump at the fishermen. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And has this gotten into any of the other lakes yet? Because you would think it would be pretty easy because they're all sort of connected.
It's why we're working so hard to make sure that, you know, we work with the Army Corps and erect a barrier so that the Asian carp can't get into Lake Michigan. It'll devastate the ecosystem, the economy, tourism, and it's 20% of the world's fresh water is in the Great Lakes, Mr. President, which is why it's so important that as a nation, we protect the pristine waters. Yep.
And, you know, all of a sudden, I assume the lakes are all interconnected, right?
Yeah.
So at some point, they're going to be in the other lakes. And so we're going to work hard on that. I spoke with the Army Corps
like
of
getting a
Engineers, and
degree,
they have a method.
like accomplishment, how they're
It's
not on the top five of year salary. Right. They're at the very bottom in salary.
So we're going to work on that very
because
hard.
nobody's hiring them.
Sort of a bipartisan thing when you get right down to it. It's a very
Offended by everything, accountable for nothing.
But we have to save Lake Michigan because these fish, they eat everything in the way, including the other fish. They eat everything. Are people endangered by the fish?
I think I mean, they're going to eat all the fish there. We won't be able to fish anymore. And that's a big deal in Lake Michigan. There's a lot of fishing, recreation. Yeah. So it's going to be a problem there. But you're right, it's bipartisan, sir. But you're the one taking action on these issues. We couldn't get Biden to do it on Selfridge. This thing has been delayed for, 15 years where we were trying to do it. It started under Obama where we were trying to do it. He wouldn't do anything about it. So we appreciate you paying so much attention to this and taking action.
Well, I would. And the governor, in all fairness, called me about it. I had seen it, and she called me, and John James called me. And, we spoke with your office, and it's, I want to put that down. Really is bipartisan. It's great to see it, actually. It's great to see that. And that includes Selfridge, too. And we're going to get it done, and we'll all stand there together and cut a ribbon. Okay? Gretchen, good. It's good. Thank you very much. I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm glad you brought it up, Matt. Appreciate it. And I know you two get along pretty well, right?
Yeah. About 70% of the time.
I think you do. All right, good. We'll have something to celebrate pretty soon. So pretty sure about that. Okay? Thank you, Gretchen, very much. Okay, do you have any questions?
Mr. President, where does the TikTok deal stand, given what we've seen, the tariffs
Well,
with
it's moving
China?
along, but obviously I would say right now China's not exactly thrilled about signing it. We have a deal with some very good people, some very rich companies that would do a great job with it. But we're gonna have to wait to see what's gonna happen with China. So
Mr. President,
no, it's on the table very much. I think China's gonna want to do it, actually.
Mr. President,
Can you explain more of what you believe is the end game with China? Are you waiting for President Xi to blink? How do you think
No.
this is all going to be
questions.
resolved?
Okay.
But for years, we've been ripped off and taken advantage of by China and others, in all fairness. But by China, that's the big one. And it's just one of those things. You know, we're making $2 billion a day right now, this country. $2 billion a day with tariffs. And they were making $2 billion a day. We'll be making more. And now when you see what happened today, I don't know.
You say, did I see the Young Turks destroyed the shit out of Kamala Harris by telling the truth about Democrats? I saw some of it because, you know, trust me, I stopped watching the Young Turks back in 2018, 19 because they were just way too black ass kissy, you know? I mean, they were terrible. They were a terrible news source. They were overly biased. But now, ever since, unfortunately, Anna was sexually assaulted by a homeless white dude, her mentality has started to flip. So now little snippets of the Young Turks videos are worth watching. I saw a little bit of it. I think that was the one where they were calling themselves trying to blame her for Kamala not winning, and she was like, "Oh, big bad Anna." If that's the clip you're talking about, then yeah, I saw that. But I mean, as far as Kamala, look, chick, Kamala, you had a snowball's chance in hell of winning the presidency. I could have won the presidency as a Republican. I'm like, even I knew what the talking points were: immigration, getting pedophiles out of schools, bringing down energy prices, all right, and bringing jobs back to America. I had been talking about this back when I had the Embrace Villainy channel. And bringing down crime. I've been talking about this for over 2 years. You say TYT made their money off the deaths of black men who not really having black. Oh yeah, well, not really having black folks on staff, right? And then the black folks that they got on staff was some Mondale dude that's a moron, you know. And then you got Rashad Richie, you know, where everything is racist. Oh my God, a white man sneezed and a black woman jumped. Oh, it's racist. He tried to give her the COVID. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. Oh, you didn't know about the essay? Yeah, apparently Anna was, you know, because she lives in Cali. She went to take her dog for a walk. She went to bend down. You know, she had her jogging pants on, you know, the stuff that chicks wear. She went to bend over to pick the dog's mess up. She said 2 white dudes who were homeless were walking by her, and one of them who had an erection, she said, grabbed her by her hips and gave her 3 pumps, said something vulgar, walked off, laughed. She spoke about the experience and how she was traumatized and how she called the police and everything. And, you know, typical low IQ Democrats, liquids, told her that it was racist for her to call the police because, you know, these are white people, white liquids. They automatically assume that the guy who humped her was black. And she was like, no, my attacker was white. And that just sent her off into it sent her on her path. It sent her on her path away from the Democratic Party. It was it lit the spark. You say that white chick went off on Kamala Harris. Yeah. Like, so you say, so that's why she's leaning to the right now. Yeah, but she's actually leaning more. I would say she's independent now. But yeah, she was like, the hell with this. Like, you guys are like, y'all are sick. And then they was trying to call her a birthing person and, you know, and all of this stuff. And, you know, little transsexuals were trying to call her a cis female. She's like, no, I'm a female. I'm a woman, not a female. I'm a woman. I will be a mother if I give birth, not a birthing person, you know. And then that started a whole war between her and you know, the pedophile / trans community. And after that, she was like, you know what? I tell you what, I'm going to be your worst nightmare. And that's exactly what she's been on TYT. I'm surprised she hasn't left yet. I would give her another year, but it seems like Cenk Uygur or Cenk Uygur, whatever his name is, he's starting to, like, she's here, he was here, and now he's coming over closer and closer and closer to her side. You know, they had this whole thing with this Francesca chick who's a fucking moron, running around. You know, she believes that, you know, big burly men would, you know, can run around and flash their penises at girls in bathrooms and all this stuff. You know, I mean, she called Cenk Uygur all out his name. This guy's her boss, and she, you know, and he fired her and took all her stuff off of TYT. So I don't know how she's gonna make a paycheck now. But, you know, I mean, they just TYT, that for a liberal channel, they are crashing out. And the messed up part about it was when they first started, because we went over this when I had my Embrace Villainy channel, and I was talking about how TYT was dying because Cenk and Anna were bumping heads. You know what I'm saying? Cenk Uygur started off as a Republican. He was conservative. But then he found out he could make more money race hustling. Then Anna, of course, she was a race hustler. So she wound up buying in, and they built the channel. But do understand, without Anna, there is no channel, because Anna is the channel. Nobody gives a damn what Cenk Uygur has to say. People tune in to watch Anna because she's pretty. She got them big old breasts, you know, with her low cut blouse, you know, when she's intelligent. So people watch, they watch for her opinion. They care less what Cenk Uygur has to say. If you notice, all of the clips that goes viral with TYT come from her. Yeah, so now he's trying to he's trying to join up with her in order to keep the channel alive. You say that cis stuff is crazy. Chappelle tried to tell him, yeah, there's safety in conservative values. These liberals eventually will allow press to express themselves. Yeah. Prez. Yeah. Okay. Man of Chicken Whopper Jr. Mike B says otherwise. Okay. TYT used to have a cable channel. Cenk nephew left prior to that. They've fallen pretty far. Yeah, and Cenk's nephew, this dude is interviewing terrorists. This dude is he cheered on Luigi Mangione and all this stuff. And like, well, what happens if somebody what if Mario decides to take you out? You know, what's his name? Hassan Piker? What if somebody decides that they want to come after you? Maybe they feel that you're part of the establishment, and they pop you in the back of the head, you know, while you going to get ice cream. Should we cheer them on because, you know, this person took out a millionaire? I mean, eat the rich. Isn't that y'all slogan? Aren't you part of the rich? Shouldn't you be eaten, since, you know, that's the ideology that you believe in and you like to support terrorists? No, she's Armenian. Anna's Armenian. I learned that years ago. She's Armenian. You say Hassan never leaves his house, I bet. No, he really doesn't. He doesn't. He really doesn't leave his house. He sit there on stream damn near all day, every day. He is like, I mean, for a guy who has millions of dollars, he has nothing going on in his life except to stream all day. Like, all he does is sit on stream all day and expound terrorist, anti-American values, communist values, and everything. He's a piece of shit. It's a piece of shit. That's why he's not on TYT. He was, but Cenk had to get rid of him because he's a moron. He's a loose cannon. Meanwhile, Democrat has the most billionaire, including Mark Cuban. Yeah, but you know, we still waiting on Mark Cuban to put, you know, a 5'2", 62-year-old, you know, Asian woman out there on the basketball court, since he believes in equality so much. Or better yet, sign Angel Reese to a contract since you believe in equality so much. You know, loser ideology, man. Talking about some Trump doesn't surround himself with intelligent women. Like, wow, like you talk about being a damn misogynist. Oh my God.
I don't know if it's still there. You know, this was, I looked an hour ago, but we were up like close to 3,000 points. Nobody's ever seen a day like that. I think that's a record, isn't it, fellas?
Definitely.
Is that a record? Who would have thought we were going to have a record like that? After,
8 of his cabinet
watching
members are women.
Because
and not all white women.
The world, they get it. Our country is very strong. We were
racist and
very, very weakened
like
country,
a typical Democrat.
both economically, financially, because of all of the tariffs and all of the other companies just raiding us and ripping us off. And also at the border where 21 million people were allowed to come in. Many of those people were criminals. And, but the people that do this for a living, and some of them are very smart and some of them aren't smart at all. But these guys are very smart, and my group is very smart. My whole group is smart. And you've done so amazing on the border. I read the other day that there were 9 people and hundreds of thousands 2 years ago with Biden, and we had 9. We had it down to 9, and they were all let in for medical reasons. They were in bad shape. We let them in for medical reasons, not even for anything else. So you've been amazing. But that's a big thing. I think it's one of the greatest problems that I've never seen anything like it. Open borders. The whole world was emptied out. Prisons from all over the world, from the Congo in Africa, from Africa to Asia, a lot in South America, but it wasn't just South America. Prisons emptied out. And I said it outside with the drivers before, but El Salvador has been amazing, the job that the president's done. He's coming to see me next week, and we look forward to that. But that's really been amazing. Yes.
Mr. President, the EU also announced increases in tariffs today. Why not treat
bad timing for them? That's bad timing.
Why not?
They
treat
said,
them
They didn't put them in. No, they threatened them,
I
but they
think-
picked a later date, which our expectation is it's going to be later still.
Okay, I'm glad that they held me.
You said you were watching the market.
If this was the strategy all along to bring them to the table, why did you instruct or advise, or maybe they did it on their own, some of your top aides to say this is not a negotiation, to hold the line, that they were going to hold the line, that you were not going to change
A
your
lot
mind?
of times it's not a negotiation until it is, and that happens. And, you know, I said outside that you have to have flexibility to do it right, and that's what we have. We brought everybody to the table, and it may not be a negotiation. It may not last. I mean, you know, things may be asked that I think are not fair to us. Look, we've been ripped off by essentially everybody for 35 years. This is not just a new thing. And Roger Penske just left. He's a great gentleman, great man, actually. And he said no other president would have had the guts to do this. And I believe that's right. They wouldn't have done it. They should have done this a long time ago. They should have done it. I started it with China. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs and taxes from China in my first term. And we had the greatest economy. We were up 88% on the stock market. That was the greatest ever in the history of our country. But it had to be done. It's something that had to be done.
Mr. President, thank you so much. Which countries will be negotiating first? Do you have any criteria? Because, for example, Brazil and the US,
hell, they all calling up.
The US. They have a surplus. They do not have a surplus. They have a deficit with the US. So, what is the criteria? And
hell,
also,
Netanyahu showed up. He pulled up.
Yo,
man, what's up with these tariffs? What's up?
He's a friend of mine. I mean, I like him. President Xi, I like him, I respect him, but they haven't treated our country right. Sure.
Wait, hold on, stop. Hold on. Netanyahu pulled up his private jet. He got out putting his pants up. What you mean I owe you some money? Like, yeah, like, bro, he been supplying you for decades. Since 1948, 50, whatever. You owe us some money. We tariffing you. It's time for you to start paying America back. We're not just gonna keep funding you and you're gonna get away with it. But hold up, I'm small head. I'm protected. You're supposed to give me money regardless. Like, yeah, well, who told you that? Who told you that? Who told you that? You better cough up some cash. What you talking about, bro? A lot of this money is because of y'all. So the debt is because of y'all. So cough it up. Cough it up, Chomper. Cough it up. You can't maybe if can I just kiss the tip? No, you can kiss it. You can swallow it all the way down to the public hairs, but you still gonna be coughing up some money. We not your hoe no more. You now ours. We putting you there. Matter of fact, with them clear heels. Here we go. What size you wear? 12. Here you go. Here's your size 12 clear heels. Now get your ass out there in that corner and make my money, hoe. You got the wrong president. Yeah, run that paper. You got the wrong country. You got the wrong president. Wait, hold on. Oh, please let me find it. Please let me find it. I don't want to hold the show down. Come on. Let me find it. Oh, let me find it. Come on. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, come on. I want to slow the show down. I want to slow it down. Where is it? I'm close. I know it's close. Let me see. Oh, damn. Did I delete it? I didn't do it. I mean, they threw Zelensky out of the White House. Did you really think that you was going to, not have to cough up no paper? They literally told Zelensky, get the hell up out of here, bro. Did you really think you wasn't going to cough up no paper? Oh my God, where is it? Please find it. I don't want to slow the show down. I'm trying to find it. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I know I'm close because I see the. Hold on. Oh, don't tell me I deleted it. No, not the what. You serious? Hold on. I think I deleted the vid. Oh, it was perfect. Yeah, I deleted it. Damn it. Anyway, let's get back to it. I'm sorry.
On the other countries, we have Japan is here, and
What's
South
up,
Korea is here, and others are here, and we're trying to see them. It's from what I hear, it's much more than 75. I said 75 plus.
So many.
It's everybody wants to make a deal, actually, and we want to do.
You know what? Let me get to this. This 92%. Let me tell you something about the 92%, which goes to show you that's how big of a gap we are when it comes to intelligence and stupidity. Stupidity is at 92%. It's at 92%, and intelligence is the other 8, which is very minuscule. And then I want y'all to understand, as Black men, we are very conservative. I know there's a 77% because you got 77% idiots. Okay, and 33% of actual intelligence. I want y'all to understand that. I mean, seriously understand that. And understand that 33% is trying to go after that 8%. And it is hard. You wonder why the dating market is trash? Because 77% is trying to get with 92%. And that 92% is made up of morons who say China is not our enemy. Support Ukraine. Okay? Jasmine Crockett is a strong Black woman, and that 92% is backed up by that 77%. Do you understand me? That 33% is trying to get with that 8%, and that 8%, a lot of that 8% is already spoken for. Do you understand? You wonder why Brian Donald got a white wife? Like, yeah. And do understand And I'm gonna say this right now: when it comes to interracial dating, specifically black men with white women, if you are a black man who's trying to date a white woman, even though they're very passe, understand that that 46% of white women who would probably have no problems, giving you sloppy toppy and making you a sandwich, that's the percentage that voted for Kamala. You understand? Those people are stupid. If you are a black man and you are a conservative black man, you can still date outside your race, specifically white, without selling your soul. You just have to exercise your intelligence. And you can get a conservative female, white, Hispanic, Asian, etc. They love conservative. The majority of women outside of black society love conservative-minded men. But the problem is that as black men, as the quote-unquote garbage men of the dating world, we still go for that liberal-minded female with the tattoos and the piercings and the colored hair, and just totally a total train wreck of a female, and think that we done came up. No, bruh, no. No. You dating white chicks with OnlyFans pages and stuff. I'm finna get my rocks off. The next thing you know, this chick is headline news for stabbing you to death in her apartment in Miami. I mean, what are you doing? You say Zelensky's ass is on the short clock. Yes, he is. 78% got trashed and blowing hurricane gas by 92%. Yeah, so do understand, when the last time Charles did a podcast and I was on there, I said straight up, your biggest problem is really, it's all about the type of females you choose. It's not that the dating market is trash. It's that's what you pick from. You pick from the trash bin, and then want to blame the females. No, it's you. Nigerian down bad. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, you the choice that you make in females is really, that's your biggest problem. You pick from the trash bin and then get mad when there's dog shit on your taco. I mean, at any rate, let's get back to this.
What's right for our country. We also want to do what's right for the world. The world is important. I mean, it's the world, right? And I think we're going to make a lot of people very happy. And I think investing in the United States of America will be the greatest investment that anybody's ever made.
Mr. President, can we still expect to see the sectoral tariffs, so the pharmaceuticals, steel? Is that something you're still considering moving forward?
Yeah, well, I will be, because we want them coming back. We realized during COVID that we don't make our drugs and our pharmaceuticals in this country. So I realized that, and it was a big realization. We had to go to China to get drugs. We had to go to other places. I won't even mention the names, but we had to go to other places. We don't make it. And that's because we let them leave. And now if they want to come back, we're going to put tariffs on the pharmaceutical companies, and they're going to all want to come back. They're going to come back. I'm not going to pay them any money like Biden with the chip deal. That chip deal was horrible. They give billions and billions of dollars to chip companies. All they have is money. They have so much money, and they give billions of dollars, and they're just going to keep the money. They're not going to spend it. And the only thing that's going to bring them back is you say, we have a barrier. You have to pay 50% or 100% or 200%. And if they have to pay that, they're going to say, we're not going to pay that. We're going to build here. And that's what happened. We're the biggest, most prestigious chip company in the world, spending $200 to $300 billion. Think of that, $1 billion to build essentially one massive plant. It'll be one of the largest plants in the world. And we're going to get them very quickly. We're going to get them energy. We're going to get them the electricity they need and the energy that they need. And it'll be approved by Lee Zeldin, a total professional. And it'll be approved very quickly. They'll get their zoning very quickly. They'll have everything done in a matter of months.
Thank you, sir. You've procured a record amount of private sector investments since your election, $7 trillion We talked about the importance of all that. Can you talk about how these investments will have a positive impact on families who felt like the previous economy left them behind, and why your executive orders on coal yesterday is so important given the amount of manufacturing that you're ushering back in?
Thank you. And which is correct. We have, I would say, more than $7 trillion now, right, of investment coming in. Apple is coming in for 500 billion alone. We have other companies coming in with massive numbers. We have car companies that are.
Again, remember they were talking about, insider trading. I'm like, Trump is telling you who to invest stock in. What did he just say about Apple? Now he's talking about car companies. We looked at this stuff yesterday, did we not? You know, I'm gonna swear to God, man, the Democrats just be reaching. They be reaching like Angel Reese as far as skill level. They be reaching.
Coming in, no, we've never seen.
In timeout. As I've said this even before the whole tariffs thing happened. When he was talking about it before he exercised it. Remember the government workers were getting laid off and they were getting the 7-month buyout packages. And I was saying, hey, look, I'm getting a team together. I'm going to the supervisor, manager, whatever. Hey, look, if we're going to get laid off, can we get that same 7-month buyout package? Because based on what Trump had been saying before before April 2nd even got here, back when it was February, back when it was March, if you felt, we might get cut, if we get cut, can we get the 7-month buyout package? Because, as I was saying, that eventually by the time those 7 months are up, before those 7 months are up, there's going to be new jobs that are going to spring up out of nowhere. And if you are a former government employee and you know the systems that they're running, especially with Apple and NVIDIA, they need foreign workers that are, at least white collar. We need secretaries and filers and all of this stuff. You've got the inside track. Plus, you've got 7 months plus health, dental, whatever. Your bills are covered. You got enough time to dust off your resume, get yourself together, try to get in shape, something. Find out what jobs are coming into your area, who's accepting early resumes / applications, etc. Talking to recruiters. I mean, keep in mind, you're talking about feeding yourself, keeping a roof over your head, sitting on your ass, woe is me, is not going to pay your rent when the 7 months are up. So you need to be proactive like you were when you were 16 to 25 before you got your quote unquote forever job with the government. You need to be proactive. You need to be proactive. Dust off that resume. Get your stuff together. Sharpen your interview skills. Find out about the corporation that's coming into your area. Learn their key factors. Oh, yes, I understand you guys are running this system, that system. When I worked for the government, we ran this, that, and the other, which is similar. I understand you guys make these parts, that parts, etc. Yes, I mean, you have to sell yourself. People are so damn lazy nowadays, Americans, especially Democrats, so damn lazy, they just think that somebody's supposed to just give you a job because you exist, or that you own the job because you got hired. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculousness. Woosah.
Anything like it. Maybe in the 1940s or 50s or something, but we've never seen anything like it. They had 3 plants canceled in Mexico. Not that we want to hurt Mexico, but we're for us, and that's what my job is. It's not to take care of other countries, but I want to help other countries as much as I can. But we have to take care of America first, and it's about America first. So we have many, many companies coming in that would have never come in if we didn't win the election, and then put the tariffs on. And they're coming in because when they build in the United States, there are no tariffs. You don't have to pay any tariffs. So instead of paying 30, 40, 50% or 25%, but it could go a lot higher in some of the industries. So we have steel mills right now that are raging. The steel industry was gone. If I didn't put the tariffs on steel, because China was dumping massive amounts of steel in my first term, and I put tariffs on it, I saved the steel industry, but now it's going to thrive. Maybe like never before. I mean, if you go back to U.S. Steel from 90 years ago, it was incredible. It was the #1 company in the world for a long time. That's why we don't want to see it go to Japan. And we love Japan, but U.S. Steel is a very special company. We don't want it to go to Japan or any other place. So we're working with them, and I don't know if they need any money now. I'll be honest with you, they hit gold. They hit gold because if you look at it, they have such orders for steel now. It's incredible. What's going on in our country is incredible with respect to plants. So we lost 90,000 plants and factories from the beginning of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made in the history of this world, but certainly in the history of trade. There's never been a worse trade deal. We were able to cancel that. We had to get approval from Congress. It was like a disastrous curse because you had to go to Congress to get it terminated. You couldn't just terminate it because it was a bad deal. And you had people in Congress that didn't want to do it because they had other reasons, maybe bad reasons. They're mostly not there anymore, those people. But it's amazing what's happened. I appreciate that question because it's incredible. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. $7 trillion, and it's much more than that because these are places that we know. $7 trillion is unheard of. I never looked at the Biden numbers, but you could go a whole year and it was peanuts. Everybody was leaving. They weren't coming in, they were leaving. And that means jobs are leaving. And so we're not playing games. We're going to make this country greater than ever before. Thank you for that question.
Let me take a look. Mr. President, it seems that China has made some. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. For the past few days, we've heard from this administration, no pause. Was this idea of doing a pause, did that just come about this morning? Can you tell us exactly what came into consideration for you and your advisors?
For a period of time, I wouldn't say this morning. Over the last few days, I've been thinking about it. I've been dealing with Scott, with Howard, with some other people that are very professional. And I think it probably came together early this morning, fairly early this morning. Just wrote it up. We didn't have the use of, we didn't have access to lawyers, or we just wrote it up from our hearts, right? It was written from the heart. And I think it was well.
All right, hold on. You say Trump grabbed his nuts. The price of brick is going up. You talking about like what brick? You talking about weed brick? You talking about weed brick? What brick is you talking about? Because I had to look. I'm like, wait, is he talking about bricks? Well, I think he's talking about bricks. So I went and took a look at brick stock market stats. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, no, he can't be talking about this type of bricks. Let me see. 7 days. Like, he can't be talking about this type of bricks. I'm like, what brick is he talking about? I had to take a look. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to. Let's go.
Written too, but it was written from the heart. It was written as something that I think was very positive for the world and for us. And we don't want to hurt countries that don't need to be hurt. And they all want to negotiate. The only problem is, you can only do so many at one time. It's like,
He's about
to do it right.
Bricks that come from Jamaica.
We want to take care of them, but we have to take care of our country. So, but this was something certainly we've been talking about for a period of time.
God damn,
and we decided to pull the trigger. And we did it today, and we're happy about it. I didn't know it would have that kind of an impact, but it's, they have the biggest increase in the history of the stock market. That's pretty good. You're almost, if you keep going, you're going to be back to where it was 4 weeks ago. But it was a sick market 4 weeks ago, because the trade was sick. It was only a question of time. I don't blame the tariffs. I think the tariffs just sort of magnified what was happening. It was sick. Biden allowed these people to get away with murder. Biden allowed China to just take advantage of us. We had like $1 trillion deficit with China. $1 trillion deficit.
Oh, okay, all right.
So that was going to only be.
That's what I figured.
I think the tariffs brought it out faster and they magnified the problem. But I think this was a problem that existed far beyond tariffs. This was a systemic problem, and we're going to cure that problem. And maybe to a large extent we have, because we've revealed it, and we've revealed it very strongly. Yes, sir, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So it seems China's made some serious missteps here in these negotiations, and Secretary Besson said earlier
Yes,
may
they
have
have.
goaded them into a tough position here. I'm wondering, are you in a way putting together a coalition against China in terms of trade here?
No. Well, China, look, they're very capable, and I don't blame China for what happened. I blame the people sitting right at this desk, right behind this desk, or another desk. You get your choice of 7. I happen to pick the Resolute, but I blame the people sitting behind in this chair, behind this desk, for being stupid, incompetent, or not having courage. This should have been done years ago. This should have been done before Obama, in all fairness. Not only Biden, Obama. This should have been done many years ago. This started with the World Trade Organization, which was owned by China. It was owned and paid for by China. They didn't even have to do things. They considered them a nation that was undeveloped. They said they...
This came to me earlier today, and it just came back to me right now. Understand what this was, the other part of the deal that Clinton had made with China. When Clinton cleared the debt with China, because we were in the red, we owed China money. Suddenly we were in the black. We cleared the debt. Not only did Clinton trade military secrets with the debt, but he also got them into the WTO, the World Trade Organization. He cleared the way for them. That's why the tariff situation is the way that it is with China as it is, because Nancy Pelosi was talking about this back in 96? They were charging us 35%. We were only charging them 3%. All of this is Bill Clinton's fault. This is why he was up for impeachment, because of what he did with China. Everything that he did, Clinton was... I know they made it about Monica Lewinsky and the blowjob, because that's what the Democrats do. They controlled the media, and that was the focus. And if you go back and watch the tapes of the Republicans that were talking about that, they said this is not about oral sex in the White House. Like, this has nothing to do with Monica Lewinsky. But that was the only questions that the Democratic controlled media, controlled by Bill Clinton, was asking, was about Monica Lewinsky. Not the fact that, in all honesty, Bill Clinton committed treason, with our quote unquote trade partners, is that one idiot had to say, like, no, these are our enemies. So in all honesty, what you're looking at is Trump cleaning up Bill Clinton's mess. It clicks now. So Bill Clinton, Mr. Cater to the blacks by playing the saxophone on Arsenio Hall's show. I remember all of this. Ron Brown's death. Who was that? The one guy, the Rose guy, the Rose law firm, killed while jogging, body dumped off in the woods. You understand the whole Benghazi situation? I mean, getting the Clintons out of the White House was by far the biggest thing that the U.S. government had to do, be it both Democrats and Republicans. You had to get the Clintons out of the White House. They had no business in the White House. They were true gangsters. True gangsters. And of course, Obama was a Clinton puppet, just like Biden was an Obama/Clinton puppet. You had to get these people out of the White House. You had to get them out of the White House because they were selling America right down the river. Like, because let's be honest, with everything that was going on with the Biden administration, they were selling us down the river to destabilization and communism, socialism. I mean, look at everything that they were doing. Look at what the Democratic Party still stands for now. They're still trying to get pedophiles in women's sports and in schools. All right, they still trying to keep criminal illegals in the country. All right, they still trying to force incompetent people into positions of power. Jasmine Crockett being a prime example of that. I mean, it's just chaos over there. That's why I could never understand why here in 2025, we as black men who claim to be at least have a monicum of intelligence, why we still support this garbage. Understand, this is why I called myself having the issue, not so much with the people, but with the ideology that if you're to pick a woman, the two things that get ignored the very most is hair and makeup, when those are the two of the biggest complaints that black men have. But when it comes to picking a mate and you list 5 things, those are the 2 things that are completely forgotten about. And it's like, oh my God, come on. Like, come on. Come on. You have to differentiate from 77%. I think probably the most beautiful thing I discovered ever since I decided to be independent was that the algorithm started changing for me, you know, on both, you know, like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all of my social media apps. The algorithm started changing, and I found so many black people who were conservative or independent. So many. I mean, we're not just talking about, you know, suit and tie Brian Donald types, but I'm talking about like brothers like with locks and braids and hoodies and tattoos, and chicks too. Chicks with colored hair and stuff. They like, you know, the hell with the Democrats. Like, these people are crazy. I truly got a full immersion, and this is the beauty of the internet being open to the world, is that I got a full immersion that we as black people are not a monolith. We're not all either Jasmine Crockett's or Candace Owens. We are becoming various shades of cultural identity when it comes to the political spectrum, especially when it comes to independent and conservative, more so than we are on the left. It's just, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Because, I mean, I'll say it again. I'm breaking my neck saying this. I'm sounding like a broken record, but when it comes to black salvation, worrying about who's a racist or not, and talking about picking cotton, we ain't picking cotton no more, whatnot. I mean, you sound extremely ignorant and racist when that is your identity, is trying to find out who's a racist or not. It's very stupid. It's very immature, very silly, and very low IQ. When we are in a day and age with, you sit here, it's not even 3 months into this man's presidency, and he is pretty much saying, hey, look, if I'm telling countries they got to hold their own nuts, what the hell do you think I'm about to do to these states and you as an American citizen? If I'm tightening the budget on countries, don't you think I'm about to tighten the budget on states? Like, y'all, I ain't even 3 months in yet. I haven't even gotten to the states yet. Like, yeah, you can call white folks racist all you want to. They just be like, yeah, okay, so what? What you gonna do about it? Like, yeah, you racist too. So now what? You sitting up here talking about how illegals are good for picking cotton. you know, and making blueberries for your smoothies and all of this goofy stuff. But I'm the racist. Okay. Like you not only are you racist, but you're stupid too. That's why I call it the Scott Jennings show. You know what? I think I am gonna open that goddamn channel. I think I am gonna open that liquid channel. The whole reason why I've been covering Trump in the White House has everything to do with your finances. This is what's going on. These are the laws that's coming down the pike. These are the executive orders. This is what this man is saying. And this man, I don't care what the Democrats tell you, this dude isn't lying to you. But he said day one. God damn it. You ever heard of hyperbole? Like, shoot. Like, you know, mechanic could be like, oh yeah, come back tomorrow, your car will be fixed. He called you 3 days later. Yeah, it's ready. It's like, what the hell? It takes time. But this man hasn't been lying to you. Everything he said has actually been popping. They've been doing it. We as black men, really black people, but us as black men, because that's who I call myself catering to. White guys, you're welcome to, you know. But as a majority black men's channel, not red pill, just black men, these are the things we need to be paying attention to. Who gives a shit if a prostitute don't want to fuck you? Like, or won't make you a sandwich? Who cares? Who cares? She has no value. She has zero value to you. Get your money right. How about that? Get your money right. Get your paper up. And then go play in the litter box or the piss pool or the garbage can of life. Just strap up and protect your neck. But don't trust me. When the new crime bill kicks down before June, I don't want to hear. I'm gonna tell you right now, these liquids, low IQ Democrats, especially the black ones, watch they start crying racism when they start locking criminal blacks up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and in between meal snacks. Watch they start crying racism. All the race hustle channels that are on YouTube, y'all know who they are. They already talking about the black kid who stabbed the white boy, did it in self-defense, and because he's black, the law shouldn't apply to him. They already talking stupid like that. Oh my God, they're gonna have a field day with these new crime laws. They're gonna have a field day with them. Whatever. Say you want it one way, but it's the other way. Trump's inner Marlowe. Exactly. Eureka. NAFTA 2. Monica's sheen dress should have been a warning to us all. You was there too. Yeah, you remember that? The skeletons were hopping out of the closet. Yeah. Yep, I know the same along with some crazy ass. Yeah, Jasmine Crockett is a disgrace to black. She's a disgrace to black people. But you know, the liquids, they you tell a girl, that's it. You cursing in Congress and saying a bunch of stupid stuff that don't make no freaking sense. Oh, you get abused. Oh, you strong black women. Just loud and wrong, as typically usual. But you know, you can't tell them people nothing.
They were a developing nation. Well, we're a developing nation too, if you think about it. Look at our inner cities. Look at what's happened. I think we're starting from ground zero there, right? So we're a developing nation too. No, I know it's a lot of people take heat for saying it, but I blame the people sitting at this desk more than I blame China. If China can get away with what they got away with taking hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars right out of our pocket because our people here were stupid. They were stupid people. Maybe corrupt. I don't know. I don't know how you can be that stupid. How do you get to be president and you're stupid? But they certainly weren't courageous. And they allowed this to happen. And with Japan and with many other countries that took advantage of us. I mean, we had deficits with almost every country. I used to read these things. The first term I'd read them. I'd actually read the agreements. I'd say, how could anybody agree to this stuff? So certainly they were rough and they were tough and they were smart. And you can blame them, but I really blame the people that allowed them to do it because, you know, if you could read first grade and you could read these agreements, you'd say, these are terrible deals.
Yeah,
I
they
actually
were
used to
ripping
say,
the country off.
who would allow deals like this to be made for our country? And maybe it's people that didn't care. Maybe it's people that weren't courageous. Maybe it's people that were corrupt. I don't know. But I blame those people more than I blame anybody else.
Yeah, remember Joe Biden, 10% for the big guy?
Saying that you would like
they were in bed with China.
U.S. energy. Is there something specific that you would like?
Wait, you say I'm pro-black, but I'm not a radical. I definitely won't blame racism for everything, but I don't ignore that it exists. Just don't interfere with me getting my money being a man's priority. Right, thank you. Thank you. You know what? I'll never forget watching an episode of the Phil Donahue show. And there was some black chick on there. And she was a stripper. This was like back in the 80s. She was a stripper. I mean, Phil Donahue was wild. You remember the Carlo? Y'all remember Phil Donahue? Y'all remember Phil Donahue when he used to have Khalid Muhammad and Minister Louis Farrakhan on there and everything? I mean, Phil Donahue had a show. I mean, Phil Donahue was the show. He had some guests on there. That man's show was popping. I mean, he made Oprah look stupid. But he had this black stripper on there, and I remember her saying, I don't care if a white man called me an N-word to my face. Just give me my money. And everybody was, it was all up in arms. We was all up in arms, but do understand it was a different time back then. But when you think about it now, she was ahead of her time. Like, shit, like I'm here. Like, you know what? I'll shake this big back, but dunk in your face, and you can call me all types of jigaboos. Just pay. Just make sure you pay for my champagne room. Pay for my dance. Don't stop me from eating. Don't stop me from eating. Because, I say that, calm your tits. I say that because you have black women today who will do race play in the bedrooms with their boyfriends and husbands and everything, where, you know, he'll throw cotton balls on the floor, pick up that cotton, bitch, and she'll play the whole pickaninny, yes, a massa, yes, a boss, you know, and all that, and they'll have the little fake whip from, you know, the little sex toy store, and she'll crack the whip and all this stuff, and they'll have the little, you know, race play sex and everything. Like, man, I don't want to hear it. As a black man, it's different, though. I remember being at my job and white female boss, we had a bunch of Ethiopians in the building. She was like, oh, I hate when we have these type of people in here. She didn't know I was behind her because I had came out of the meeting room and was walking behind her. She was coming down the hall with somebody else, another white manager, and I came out behind them in the meeting room, and she said that. And I was like, yeah, I hate when we have what did I say? I said I hate when we have those other kinds up in here too. And, you know, meaning because I was Mr. Pro-Black back then. Y'all remember that when I used to have the BTS channel and calling out racist folks and stuff, man. I said that chick turned around, her eyes was big as dinner plates. I'm looking her dead in the face. Like, yeah, I heard you, bitch. I heard you, bitch. But yeah, you know, like, shoot, like, just pay me my money. Pay me my money. Pay me my money. As long as you're not costing me my job, my home or anything of that, anything of value, you just some stupid moron out the streets talking smack, like, oh, okay, step forward with it. If you see a nigga slap a nigga, I'm right here. Come on, step up, step up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, run your punk ass mouth. Y'all know how they be scared as hell. Be the first ones to get their skulls cracked after running their mouth and then want to call the police. Bitch ass motherfuckers. And be pathetic too. Y'all remember that white boy came on here about a month ago talking all that nigga shit, and come to find out he 40 years old with no skills, staying in his grandfather's house. You know what I'm saying? Dated a black chick for 2 years and she left him because he was a loser. Like, dude, you just mad because your life hasn't amounted to nothing and it never will. So you want to take it out on black folks. Like, man, like, you better take your ass to school.
China to do?
Well, you'll be hearing about that. Yeah, there are a lot of things I'd like China to do. There are a lot of things that I want China to do, and I'll be telling China what that is, not you. I'm telling China.
Mr. President, Iran, you said the other day that if they do not agree to a potential nuclear deal, that it would be very dangerous for them. What specifically?
Well, they
did you
can't have
mean?
a nuclear weapon.
Did you mean military action though? If they don't?
Yeah, they
agree?
can't have a nuclear weapon.
Oh, if necessary? Absolutely.
Yeah, Iran will push the button.
Do you have a
deadline for these
Yeah,
talks?
They'll wipe Israel off
You're
the
talking about with
earth.
Iran?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Do you want something definitive this weekend?
Can't
or
let
is this
Iran have a
the
nuke.
start of a process?
It's a start.
Do you have a
Although
We have a
Russia
little
is
time.
close to arming
We
them
don't
with
have
a
much
nuke, if they
Because
hadn't
we're not going to let them
already
have a nuclear
under
weapon.
Biden.
We can't let them have a nuclear. And we're going to let them thrive. I want them to thrive. I want Iran to be great. The only thing they can't have is a nuclear weapon. They understand that. You know, the people are so incredible in Iran, and they're so smart. They're very smart people. But, you know, they're in a rough situation, rough
Their
regime.
leadership is psychotic.
But they understand, and the leaders understand. And I'm not asking for much. I don't, they can't have a nuclear weapon. And I've said that. And I was a little bit surprised because when the election was rigged, I figured they'd get the weapon because with me, they were broke. They were broke. They had no money because of the sanctions. Nobody could buy oil. We did that to Venezuela just recently. And we'll do it to other countries if we have to. I want to see Russia and Ukraine make a deal. They got to make a deal. When schools get blown up and bad things happen, like I'm hearing about, it's no good. I hope we're going to make a deal with Russia and Ukraine. But with Iran,
Yeah, that's taking forever.
if it requires military, we're going to have military. Israel will obviously be very much involved in that. He'll be the leader of that. But nobody leads us. We do what we want to do.
Thank you. Nobody tells the United States what to do. We tell them what to do.
I can't really be specific, but you know, when you start talks, you know if they're going along well or not. And I would say the conclusion would be when I think they're not going along well. So that's just a feeling.
Mr. President, on the subject of U.S. troops stationed in Europe, do you have any plans to reduce the number of U.S. troops in Europe or in other NATO countries?
Well, good. I mean, it depends. We pay for military over in Europe. You know, we don't get reimbursed by much. South Korea too. So it will be one of the things we discuss. That's unrelated to trade, but I think we'll make it part of it because it makes sense. Be nice to wrap it all up in one package for each country. You know, it's nice and clean, and we have plenty of law firms. These are great law firms that we signed with, the best. And I think part of the way I'll spend some of the money that we're getting from the law firms, you know, in terms of their legal time, will be, if we can do it, I think we can do it, using these great law firms to represent us with regard to the many, many countries that we'll be dealing with. We'll have good lawyers representing us, but we want to have good lawyers, and these are the best, considered the best lawyers in the world, right? I mean, considered the best in the world. I don't know.
Yeah, that was to back up what he was saying about what the lady, she asked about us having military in these EU countries, you know, Eastern European countries. You know, hey, are you going to pull them out? Because we are spending more having troops there as part of NATO than they're paying us to protect them. This is why JD Vance went to Munich last month and told them, hey, look, y'all have to reverse course on, you know, free speech, how you're handling your immigration policies and everything. You people are crazy. Y'all better reverse course on that like we did, because you're letting George Soros and BlackRock dictate what's going on with your countries. You don't seem to understand. They're trying to destabilize your countries because, in all honesty, BlackRock and George Soros is in bed with BRICS. Do you understand? Because BRICS, one US dollar is, you need 11 US dollars to equal one BRICS dollar. So BRICS is their dollar, their currency is worth more than the US. So they were trying to destabilize all of the countries under the crown, all right, that deal with the US dollar. So that way, BRICS would be the dominant power, the dominant economic power of the world. Therefore, they can make more money. JD Vance was trying to tell them reverse course on what they're doing, just like we did here with Donald Trump. You guys need to do the same thing. And they told JD Vance to kick rocks. But JD Vance was trying to tell them, if you don't reverse course, you're going to have to pay us for your protection, because we're no longer going to foot the bill under NATO, because without the US, there is no NATO. You don't have the armed forces to, you couldn't beat a bunch of black people from California without our military. Okay? So you need to do as we say and do as we do, not listen to what is that guy's name, the head of BlackRock? Stop listening to Larry Fink and George Soros. Listen to us. But they're sitting up here. You got Germany and Australia, France and the UK like gone somewhere. This is why when Zelensky went to the UK trying to call himself securing the military deal with them to help continue to fight against Russia, they was like, well, we're funded by the U.S. We get our weapons from the U.S. The weapons that we have here are so outdated and outmoded. I mean, this stuff growing mold on it. You know, like we can maybe summon up maybe 20,000 troops. Like 20,000 troops. Like, I mean, Jesus, I lose 20,000 people in a day, damn near a week. What? So that's why Zelensky was, you know, dear United States, I am so sorry for being a dumbass. I apologize. Please forgive me. You know what I'm saying? Because the EU, NATO, they can't protect him without the US. That's why she asked that question. Like, well, what are you going to do? And I was saying back when JD Vance did that and they told him to kick rocks, I'm like, okay, like, understand, when your countries go under from being under siege from Muslims, because do understand they're out there having all types of terrorist activities going on in the UK by Muslims, Muslim extremists. You got rape gangs out there where 5 or more guys roaming the streets and they just raping white women left and right, just like they were doing here in the United States. Except instead of them doing it by one-on-one, it's a gang of 5 from 10 years old up. and they're not prosecuting these people. And if you speak out on it, they throw you in jail for years and give the rapist a literal slap on the wrist because he didn't know that rape was illegal. I mean, it's wild out there. It's wild out there. The EU is going crazy with this, with their immigration policies. I mean, it's wild. You had a dude try to set off a car bomb in the middle of a crowd, except it didn't go off. He wound up burning himself almost to death because he failed at the car bomb. A Muslim. It's getting wild out there. And Vance is like, when your country fall, don't call us unless you got some money. That's why she asked that question. You gonna continue to foot the bill to protect these piece of shit countries? These white countries that are falling apart? You gonna continue to foot the bill for that? In all honesty, I mean, based on what JD Vance is saying, the answer is no. But Trump is just being diplomatic.
They just went off a little bit.
Crazy.
Mr. President, two questions. On Iran, do you have an update on who will be
Yes, it's form of insurance for proxy, yes.
Will Witkoff be there on Saturday for these direct talks? And on China, some economists are saying
Wait,
that...
stop. Hold on. This is what went on with South Africa. Remember, Trump pulled all the funding from South Africa. Because understand that South Africa is not controlled by America, but we provide protection for Europeans out there in South Africa. He pulled the funding, aka the military protection, and told those white folks, them white farmers out there, hey, look, you're welcome to come to the United States. We grant y'all immediate, dual citizenship. And them white farmers out there like, no, we good. Like, do you not hear the South African leader talking about they gonna take that land from y'all by force? And then the next thing you know, you got a video popping up of some white guys, father and son, getting assaulted by some black dudes at a traffic stop. I mean, it just be little sparks of violence like that that just set everything off. The whole situation where you pretty much have a civil war going on in Europe, in the UK, was because an African immigrant stabbed 3 little white girls to death in a freaking ballerina school, a dance class, under 10. Stabbed 3 of them to death. They are in the middle of a civil war. That's been going on since what? January, February, if not December? Just a little incident like that will spark everything off. Man, folks is playing with fire. They do not understand. They do not understand exactly what the hell is going on, man. They do, people are running around here with their hopes and their dreams, thinking that everything is going to work out. But no, it does not work out the way you think it will. It does not work out like that. Let me back it up. She asked a question about China.
Using these great law firms to represent us with regard to the many, many countries that we'll be dealing with. We'll have good lawyers representing us, but we want to have good lawyers, and these are the best, considered the best lawyers in the world, right? I mean, considered the best in the world. They just went off a little bit.
Mr. President, two questions. On Iran, do you have an update on who will be participating or conducting these conversations? Will Witkoff be there on Saturday for these direct talks? And on China, some economists are saying that right now is technically embargo on China with 125% tariffs. Are you concerned of escalation beyond the trade war with China?
No, I'm not concerned. I think President Xi is a very smart guy, and I think we'll end up making a very good deal for both.
You're right. They surface level.
We've been treated so badly for so many years. Again, we allowed that to happen. We've been treated so badly for so many years. But no, I don't expect that. I think President Xi is one of the very smart people of the world, and I don't think he'd allow that to happen. And we're very powerful. This country is very powerful. Let me tell you.
Yeah, China's economy right now is collapsing. But to get to what you were saying, no news, say people do not know how to look several levels deep. No, they do not. The problem is you have Look, I was talking to Lewis, Red Pill Sleeper Cell, about this today. Is that the problem is the beauty and the curse of the internet is that it gave everybody a voice. And not everybody know what the hell they be talking about. Because not everybody actually understands what the hell they're hearing. They're not looking at the right type of source of information. This is why right now I have the biggest problem with the Democratic Party, even though I used to call myself a Democrat, is that they have veered so far off course that you have to see, like, if your ideology is lining up with theirs as they sit right now, you're on the wrong track, bro. You on the wrong track. These people are psychotic. How do you not get that? And the problem is that you have a lot of people who right now, they may not agree with the track that Democrats are on, but they still are democratic in their way of thinking. Do you understand what I mean by that? What I mean by that is that they're still going to democratic sources for information. Therefore, they're getting lies, half-truths, and bullshit. And they think that that is the truth. This is why here on this channel, I go, you see, everything that I do, I play it straight from the horse's mouth. I want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. And if I'm hearing something, hold on, well, let's look it up. I'm pulling up the co-pilot, you know, all of this stuff. I want to hear it. I want to understand exactly what the hell I'm listening. What did you just say? What did you say about this? Let's check the stock prices. You know, I'm checking the resources in live time. Y'all see me doing it. Y'all see me sitting up here on the phone and looking off and all this stuff. I'm looking up what the hell Trump, Carolyn Leavitt, whoever is doing the interview, whoever's talking, I want to look it up to see if it's true or not. I don't want to pull the information out of my ass. I remember what these people said back. I remember what he was saying back when he was on the campaign trail. I remember all of that. There's nothing that he's saying now that's not a surprise to me today, because he was saying it back when he was running for president the past 2 years, despite the court cases. We knew exactly what the hell Trump was running on. That's why people are like, you got what you voted for. Like, you goddamn right we got what he, not that I voted for him, I voted for Jill Stein, but you goddamn right we got what we voted for, because we've been paying attention to what this man has been saying ever since he started campaigning again. Everything he said, this is what he's been doing. He did not lie about what he was going to do once he became president. And he's already doing it, and we're not even 3 months in. You understand? But people who are very limited in their information because they're still democratic in their thinking, these things are shocks to them. They can't believe it. Oh my God. Oh, you know, and they're pulling stuff out of their ass because they're not checking the sources. He's the source. They're not checking the source. They still listening to Joy Reid and you know, who's the other moron on The View, the Sonny Holston, you know, and Rachel Maddow and them. They're still reading Democratic newspapers and Democratic news sources. So they think they know what the hell they're talking about, not understanding that they're really watching and reading yellow journalism. Let me hear it from the horse's mouth first, then I'll go and see what other people are saying about it to compare and contrast. I think for myself. Nobody tells me what to think, but we're hearing what this guy is saying. I know this has been a very boring press conference, but at least we know what's going on. We hear what he's saying. So when you watch CNN or MSNBC or ABC or CBS, one of them alphabet little organizations or whatnot that you normally listen to, you're like, wait, he didn't say that. Just like that, Hakeem Jeffries, oh, they're cutting Social Security and Medicaid. Yeah, for people over the age of 120 years old, because those are people who are illegals who have stolen, usurped dead people's identities, which is bankrupting Social Security and Medicaid. They're defrauding the system. Millions of people, of illegals defrauding the system. Those Social Security numbers should be dead, cut off, never to be used again, because these people have expired. Why are they still in circulation? Millions of them still in circulation. Who the hell is using these Social Security numbers? Who the hell over the 120 years old is on Medicaid and Medicare? Yeah, they won't tell you that. You really want to stump a dumbass Democrat, a liquid? Ask them how. Ask them how. Look, three little words, three little letters. Oh, Trump is doing how? Huh? How? How? Explain it to me. Next thing you know, they humming, or they get to insulting you because that the talking point has run out. They can't think for themselves. They don't know. Somebody told them this. Hakeem Jeffries or Jasmine Crockett or AOC or one of these talking pundits on a Democratic media channel told them this. So therefore, it's true. But then you ask them how, and they can't explain it. Oh, Trump is just doing tax cuts for his friends. How? How? The stock market is crashing. How are they getting tax cuts when they're losing billions of dollars, if not millions, by the second? How? Huh? How? Yeah, exactly.
It's far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have. More powerful than anybody, not even close. So nobody's going to do that. But I think that if that's what you're referring to, maybe it's not. But just in terms of basic escalation, which is what you said, no, I think that President Xi is a man who knows
countries don't want
exactly
to go
what
to
has to
war
be
with the
done.
U.S.
He's a very smart man. He loves his country. I know that for a fact. I know him very well. And I think he's going to want to get to a deal. I think that's going to happen. We'll get a phone call at some point.
You don't have a nuclear bomb.
It'll be off to
you
the
don't want to fight
races.
the
It'll be a
United
great
States.
thing for them.
He's a
It'll
big
be
mistake
a great
of
thing
your
for
life.
us. It's going to be a great thing for the world and for humanity.
And China does not have the bomb.
In Saudi Arabia?
At some point, I will. We'll have to see. I mean, we have to get there right now. You know, we got to get there. In the meantime,
It's almost
they're
over.
losing 2,500 on average young people every single week. Think of that. 2,500 people a week. It's not even conceivable. We got to get there fast.
Do you think
A couple of more. Yes.
you have to increase tariffs on China even more before they come to the table or give you a
I
phone call?
can't imagine it. No, I can't imagine. I don't think I'll have to do it. I don't think we'll have to do it more. We calculated it very carefully. By the way, when you hear 100, a lot of people charge much more than that. Canada charges much more than that to our farmers, our dairy farmers. Many people charge much more than 100 or 125 in this case.
Some people charge
But I don't-
250.
It's still a
250%.
significant number. I don't see that again.
On the
Yeah, please.
investigations.
Yeah, Mr. President. So do you think some of your tariff critics would prefer, to see the United States go through turmoil than to actually see it succeed just because they are your policies?
You mean just leave the tariffs the way they are now and just relax, right?
Yeah.
Some people have said that. Look, again, we're making It'll
Dummy
be soon much more than $2 billion a day. That's not the worst thing that I've ever heard. So yeah, some people say that, but you know, we look at the other side too. I think as the United States, we have an obligation to look also at the other side. We want what's good for everyone. I mean, it's America first, but we also want to make sure there's a world that can live happily and all of that. And so, you know, this is where I look. No, but there are people that say, look, where we are now, I've been in worse positions in my life than making $2 billion a day plus, right? It's really plus. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press. Heading out.
Thank you.
All right, so there's that. All right, so I think I got a bar tomorrow and Saturday, but I do want to cover the Ratchet Crockett talking about you know, black people, we don't pick cotton no more because, you know, she's a moron. I do want to cover that. Her and Sonny Holston. I got to put that whole thing together. But I might say that for the new channel, but I doubt it. I'll cover it on here. But let me handle my weekend and we'll get to it. All right. That's a promise. That's a promise. Let me handle my weekend. All right, y'all. Y'all be safe.
Okay, I believe that is an L. It is, in fact, an L. You believe 6 hours ago I couldn't even read a stop sign? All right, test me again. I want to go smaller. Smaller. All right.
Great work, Rob. Great work. See if you can read this. You're fired. And in case your ears are fucked, get the fuck out! And the next person I see juggling, tap dancing, or baton twirling, or doing any other circus-like tricks will join him, all right? One strike policy applies. Now get back to work. God damn, that felt good.